Fondest greetings, and thank you for tuning in. What you are about to see and hear are complete backstories of Cochise, Jenkins and Asra the Witch. Here is basic information about Cochise Jenkins. Full name, Cochise Alexander Jenkins. Age, 35. Occupation, automotive technician and part-time motorcycle enthusiast. Height, 6 feet 0 inches. Personality, kind, respectful, hardworking, loyal. Home, a quiet suburban neighborhood where he lives alone. Cochise is an average-looking man with an athletic build and warm brown eyes. He usually dresses casually in jeans, comfortable sneakers, and a t-shirt beneath a black vest. He doesn't see himself as particularly handsome, but people who get to know him often notice his sincerity and gentle nature. Despite his physical strength, Cochise carries himself with humility rather than arrogance. His strengths are as follows: honest, respectful toward everyone, protective of the innocent, patient, dependable, courageous when it matters. His weaknesses: often doubts himself, too forgiving of people who mistreat him, struggles to stand up for himself, sometimes mistakes kindness for weakness. His biggest desire is to find someone who truly loves and respects him for who he is. His biggest fear is spending his life believing he is not worthy of love. Cochise grew up in a working-class family. His parents taught him to treat people with dignity and respect regardless of who they were. He excelled in helping others but often put his own needs last. As he got older, he developed a reputation as the nice guy who would always help friends move, fix a car, or lend support during difficult times. Unfortunately, some people took advantage of that kindness. Throughout his 20s and early 30s, Cochise experienced one disappointing relationship after another. He was the man who remembered birthdays, listened carefully, and treated his partners with respect. Yet several women he dated failed to appreciate those qualities. Some mocked his dreams. Others took advantage of his generosity. One girlfriend publicly embarrassed him in front of strangers, leaving a wound that lingered for years. Over time, Cochise began wondering if there was something wrong with him. His confidence steadily declined. He started believing he would never find someone who truly valued him. One rainy evening, after another painful breakup, Cochise found himself walking alone through a park. There he met a mysterious woman named Asra. She possessed striking beauty, fiery red hair, and eyes that seemed to glow with ancient wisdom. Unknown to Cochise, Asra was a powerful witch who had spent centuries observing humanity. Unlike others, she immediately recognized something special about him. Not because he was rich. Not because he was famous. Not because he was powerful. But because he possessed genuine goodness, something increasingly rare in the world. Asra quickly saw the self-doubt hidden beneath Cochise's calm exterior. She challenged him whenever he spoke negatively about himself. She encouraged him to recognize his own worth. Over time, their friendship deepened. For the first time in his life, Cochise met someone who respected him as much as he respected others. Someone who saw his strength before he did. Asra never changed Cochise through magic. Instead, she helped him discover the confidence that had always existed inside him. Through adventures, challenges, and battles against dark forces, Cochise learned. His kindness is a strength. Respect should never require surrendering self-respect. Courage means standing up for yourself as well as others. Real love is built on mutual respect. Gradually he became more confident, decisive, and fearless. Not because he became a different man, but because he finally became the man he was always meant to be. The theme for his story is, true strength comes not from power, but from knowing your own worth. The heart of Cochise's journey is not about finding magic, It's about finding confidence, self-respect, and a partner who genuinely values him. And through Asra, he discovers that the greatest transformation of all isn't magical, it is learning to believe in himself. This setup also creates a strong foundation for The Witch and the Warrior, where Cochise and Asra can grow from unlikely friends into an inseparable team who protect others while building a loving relationship together. Now here is basic information about Asra the Witch. Name: Asra. Age: unknown, appears to be in her early 30s. Occupation: witch, guardian, scholar of magical knowledge. Home: a hidden estate protected by powerful enchantments. Origin: unknown even to herself. Known family: none. Unlike most people, Asra has no memory of her birth or childhood. Her earliest memory is awakening alone in an ancient forest centuries ago. Beside her lay a weathered spellbook bearing a single word: Asra. Whether it was her name, the name of her family, or the name of a magical lineage, she never discovered. With no parents, no home, and no explanation for her existence, she spent years wandering the world trying to understand who she was. She never found the answer. Over time, she accepted that some mysteries may never be solved. As the years passed, Asra discovered that she aged very slowly. While generations of people lived and died, she remained almost unchanged. This gave her a unique perspective on humanity. She witnessed great acts of kindness, incredible courage, deep friendships, lifelong romances. But she also witnessed cruelty, greed, betrayal, and heartbreak. Because she lived so long, she rarely allowed herself to grow close to anyone. Everyone she loved eventually grew old and passed away. The pain became unbearable. So she began keeping her distance, observing rather than participating, watching rather than belonging. Whenever people discovered her magical abilities, they usually reacted in one of three ways. 1. They feared her. 2. They wanted to use her powers. 3. They became fascinated by the magic rather than the woman herself. Very few people ever asked Asra what she wanted. Very few people cared about her feelings. Even fewer saw her as simply a person. As centuries passed, she began wondering if anyone ever would. Despite her power, wisdom, and beauty, Asra longed for something surprisingly simple: to be loved. Not as a witch. Not as a magical being. Not as a mystery. Just as Asra. She dreamed of finding someone who would laugh with her, share meals with her, hold her hand, accept both her strengths and weaknesses, choose her every day. For centuries, that dream seemed impossible. One evening, while walking through a city park, Asra noticed a man sitting alone. There was nothing extraordinary about him. No magical aura. No hidden destiny. No supernatural gifts. Just a man carrying years of disappointment and self-doubt. Most people would have walked past him. Asra couldn't. Something about his kindness stood out. She sensed that despite being hurt repeatedly, he still chose to treat others with respect. That impressed her more than any magical power ever could. Asra spent time talking with Cochise. The more she learned about him, the more surprised she became. He wasn't trying to impress her. He wasn't interested in gaining magical powers. He wasn't intimidated by her intelligence. And when she eventually revealed that she was a witch, his first concern wasn't what she could do, it was whether she was okay. For perhaps the first time in centuries, someone saw Asra before he saw her magic. Asra had spent centuries waiting for fate to bring her happiness. It never happened. For once, she decided to create her own opportunity. After several conversations and shared adventures, she gathered her courage and asked Cochise a question no spell could answer: "Would you be my boyfriend?" To her surprise, the answer came immediately: yes. At that moment, both of them found something they had been searching for their entire lives. Cochise becomes more than a boyfriend. He becomes her best friend, her confidant, her emotional anchor, her greatest adventure. Meanwhile, Asra becomes his biggest supporter, his source of confidence, his teacher, the first person to truly appreciate him for who he is. Together they help each other heal wounds that neither realized they still carried. The theme for Asra's character is as follows. Asra's journey is about learning that love requires vulnerability. For centuries she protected herself from heartbreak by keeping people at a distance. Meeting Cochise teaches her that true happiness isn't found through magic, power, or immortality. It's found by trusting someone enough to let them see the real person behind the mystery. In many ways, Cochise saves Asra just as much as Asra saves Cochise. Their story becomes one of two lonely souls who finally find the acceptance, respect, and unconditional love they've been seeking all along. And that was the complete backstory of Cochise Jenkins and Asra the Witch. Eventually, we will see a completely revamped video story of how their adventures began. In the meantime, we hope you enjoyed seeing and hearing this video. See you next time, and God bless. Goodbye for now.